Fine, Kath. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. We have Jag on the call too. Jag,
Yes.
have you had a chance to introduce yourself to the team?
Yes, we.
Excellent. Okay, good. So in terms of today, I guess the best thing to do is if we look through the queries. What do you think?
Okay, sure, Kath.
Yeah. Now, just I won't be able to answer everything now because some of these I think I'll need to get more information either from Alexandra or Ian on. But yeah, we can definitely try and just work through some of the questions that the team has. And then I think the other thing we need to talk about is what we start work on first. So I know that the team has suggested a prioritization.
Right.
Obviously, it's really hard to start work on anything until we've got environment set up. So that's a discussion I'm having with you, Kalpana, and Ian Wright's team next week. So I'm really hoping that we can actually get a DevOps engineer from their team and a server so we can start setting up, we can start rebuilding environments. So we'll have to see how that conversation goes next week.
Sure, Kath.
Okay. So let's have a look at the questions as they came up. What should I do? I shall, presumably you've got access to the questions. Should I share my screen and share the backlog?
Okay, Kath.
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah.
And I'll flick between the two. So I will share my screen in just a minute.
Or should we first look into the prioritized stories, Kath?
Sorry, Kalpana?
Should we first look into the prioritized stories in the sheet?
Yeah. So we've got, can you see that here?
Yeah. Can you go to the second sheet? Prioritized.
I actually didn't realize there was a second sheet. I've only just noticed that. Okay, I was having a look at this one.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the order that we have come up.
Got it. Okay. Yes. All right. Well, let's look at this first.
Okay.
And then we can also talk about why this order is important from your point of view.
Yeah.
Okay. So creating a new system admin, you would like to do this first, yeah?
Yes, Kath. It would be a good starting point if we start from create institution.
Mm-hmm. So I think we just have one system admin at the moment. So this would give our system admin the ability to create other system admins, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just the designs and the story is clear for the team. We just need
Yeah.
to start with.
Okay. Yeah, I have no particular issue with that. So for this one, we can jump into SRW, the QA. So we can actually look at the implemented designs as well. Okay. So at the moment with manage users. Okay, so at the moment, all we can do is create a score report user. That's it. That's the only role that we have enabled right now. So what we would need is the ability for a system admin to create another system admin. So this would not be done. This would not be done in the context of an institution. This would need to be done externally to that. Yeah. So, Jag, do you have a sense of how that could be managed if a system admin is creating another system admin? Is this something that we do on other systems that, have you got a flow in mind for that?
So we're looking at creating a system admin for within their institution.
No, it's actually creating a Pearson system admin creating another system admin.
Okay.
So that's another system admin that can see all institutions. So I'm wondering if we would even do this would this even be done through an interface, or could it be done externally, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
Yes. So,
Because I'm thinking about other products I work on, and we just create system admins. We don't actually do anything through an interface, right? Kalpana, can you tell me where your team thinking of a particular way of doing this? Basically, what I'm wondering is, do we even need to build something at front end, or would we just, because this is a Pearson role, would we just create those roles, rather than actually having something at front end that we needed to do?
Can you separate page? Yeah, we can use it in separate page to see.
It's not audible.
Can we use a different separate page for the creating super admin user?
Yeah, we could. So if I'm now logged in, right? So I'm logged in as a system admin, right? This is what I see. I go to manage users, and this is where I can actually create users for institutions. I'm just thinking, if I needed to, maybe I would have another button here that said create system admin, and it would be another page. So I could do that. That's something, it would be quite easy to do. I'm just wondering if we need to, because couldn't we just create the system admins that we needed without actually having to do it here? I don't know how system admins are currently created, and maybe it's worth finding out, but it just feels like, do we really need this to be a front end function, actually? Do you see what I mean?
I think yes. Mm, admin can create it through front end only, and he cannot directly create. He cannot directly go back end and he cannot create it from back end.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I'm just thinking, we could build a form and design a form for a system admin to create another system admin, but I'm just thinking this is something that we could just handle outside the system, really. I tell you what, let me find out what we do typically, right? So I'll talk to our product operations group and just find out what we typically do when creating system admins, and then we'll make a decision. But my thinking is, this is something we would manage outside of, we wouldn't need an interface for it. We wouldn't need a page for it. We wouldn't need a form for a system admin to fill out. I think this is just something that we could handle. Actually, we can just create the number of system admins we need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll follow up on that. So I'll make a note of that one.
Okay.
Okay, so your other, shall I add a little column here? Can I edit this?
Yes, Kathy, you'll be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let me just so maybe I'll just put a note here. Without needing a page or adding to UI. How this is done for current further products. Okay. So the next one is create site admin. This we definitely do need. And there is it's a good one to do, to be honest, because we're not dependent on Vue here.
Yeah.
We're not dependent from anything for Vue. Yeah. So that's your logic, which is a good logic. So yeah, this can be done through this form here. nothing changes except for the role. So we just need to add the role. So my question to you guys is, the story is hopefully clear. Do you need any other design, or are you happy to work with the designs that we've implemented and then just add the ability to create a site admin to the role? Let's look at the story though, to be sure that I'm not missing something. Okay. Because it might be that we need to see some kind of view of the admins we've created. Where has it gone? It is...
It's 25.
What is it, Kalthana?
258.
258. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So we've got create new user. So I see the form. I see confirmation that the form is created. Okay. I view all users within an institution. Admin has same access as SRW user. So let's just look at the view. I just want to make sure that we're okay on that. Okay, so all that would happen is that they would see admins here. Yeah, site admin in the role column when they go to view users for an institution. So I think we have what we need. And then I've got a separate story which is filtered by role. Do you guys have that one too? I think that we could actually move that one up. Filter users by role. Yep, so you've got that one there. Perfect. Okay, yep, I think let's go ahead with that. Are you happy to work with the existing designs? I don't feel like Jag would need to provide a design for that, but do you agree?
Design is fine. Yeah. Design is fine. Yeah.
We have already.
Fabulous. Okay. Yeah. So we'll work on that one next. And then site admin can create a user. Oh, sorry, I've skipped one. Auto generate new code for an institution 417. Okay. Sorry, I keep going into the wrong backlog. Let me bring that here. Okay, auto-generate code for a new institution. You guys must have some questions on this, I would imagine. Yeah, this needs to be added to the create institution screen. So do you understand what this code is?
Okay. Actually, we thought to have a talk with you regarding this one. This 3-digit and to.
And what is the current logic is being used for the?
So, in terms of the current site.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the exact logic, but I can find out. It's basically it's sort of a generation of 3 letters. I remember that Vue told us that we don't need to implement the same logic, so we can implement our own. As long as it generally makes sense. So we're not tied to their logic in any way. When we come to import all of the institutions, we will get the institution codes. So we'll need the codes for the existing institutions, the ones that already exist. But for any new institutions that are created, I think we can just come up with our own logic. I do remember there was a discussion with the previous team about that. So I will retrieve that. That's an action for me.
Okay.
And find out more details on what is the current logic. So, and it's whether or not we want to keep to that logic, or whether it's just simplest for us to create new logic, right? So that would be the back-end work. And then there is, so what would happen in terms of the front end is, when I go to create an institution, the code would just appear there automatically, so they wouldn't actually have to choose it. We are enabling them to override that code if they wish, though, because they might have a code that they want to, they might have a code that they would prefer to use, or something that makes more sense from the point of view of their institution. So in the current score reporting website, they can override that code, and we will retain that function. Okay, so the main thing here is to understand what the existing logic is and to decide whether or not that's something that we want to keep to, yeah?
Ken, I have a question here. So,
Yes.
if the provided code is already existing in our database, then in such case, what should we do?
Sorry, it's really hard to hear you guys. I don't know if there's any way you can get a bit closer to the mic.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, so if the provided code is already existing in our system, then in such case, what should we do?
So if okay, you mean if they override a code,
Yeah.
and it already exists, yeah, good question. We'd need to throw an error and say this code already exists. Please choose another one.
Okay.
But that does raise a good point, though. It does raise a really good point about whether we should allow them to override it, because that might just be more hassle than it's worth. So what I will do is find out, is there a clear business reason for user being able to, a site admin being able to override code, because it would just be simpler if they couldn't. But if not, remove this from acceptance criteria. Okay, really good point. From a design perspective, we're good. I think there's nothing needed here. It's just confirming these 2 points.
Yes, Kat.
Perfect. Okay, that's really good. So next up, create a user in my institution as a site admin. Yep. So that should all be fine. And we have the ability to do that already. It's just that now we're doing it from a site admin perspective. So let's just look at the story and the journey. Guys, give me 30 seconds. I'm just going to go into another room so it's getting a little noisy. So it won't be a minute. Jag, just one thing I do need to tell you about another project.
Yep.
Talking about student certificate, yes, do add the CFR band to both, half CFR band to both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Okay, let's sell myself here. Right, so the thing I want to check here is the flow, just to see if we need any other designs once that user is created. I think not, but I just want to check. So go back up. So what story was it? It is create user. So it's 76. Here we go. Create user in my institution. Okay. So I view list of users in my institution. I set title to create a new user, presented with a form. Okay. So I've logged in as a site admin. I don't see this. So one thing I think, the thing I think we need to think about with the site admin role, and this is from a design perspective, is what the site admin sees when they go to manage users. Because I think, Jag, they should just go here. Yeah?
Yeah.
If I've logged in as a site admin, then I'm just here. I don't actually see the institutions because I'm in my institution.
You're right.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a note of that actually we just need to confirm that this is the landing page when you go to manage users. So I'll add that to acceptance criteria. So the user list is the landing page. And then to create a user, I just do the usual. So it all exists already for the super admin. Nothing is changing there. I can either create a score report user or I can create another site admin. And then we go back to here. And you can see the user by role. Yeah. So I think from a design perspective, guys, we're okay on this. It's just, I just need to confirm that that is the view. And let's see, I might have that already. Yeah, I'll confirm that that's the view, that I'll update the criteria afterwards. Right, admin sees when logging into their, oops, when accessing manage users. Perfect. Okay. So you guys are happy that we don't need any more design for that. We just need to update the acceptance criteria. Yeah.
Yes, Cat. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And then for your users in my institution, yeah, that's all fine. That already exists. So actually, is that even a valid story? Let's have a look.
Kath, sorry for the interruption. Just one question from the team.
Mm.
So, Kat, what are all the different user roles are available and what are the privileges they are having?
Yeah, so there should be actually, there is somewhere a role matrix. I will make sure that that's added to the manifesto. So the users are super admin, typically taken by Pearson, and super admin can see everyone. And then there is a site admin. So the site admin is a role within a single institution. And then there is, and a site admin can basically create users within their institution. So that would be, for example, it could be an administrator at a university who does that. And the reason we want that role is because we don't want the super admin. We don't, as Pearson, we don't want to have to do all that work. We want institutions to be able to manage themselves. And then there is a role below the role of site admin, which is score report user. So if I log in as a score report user, then all I can do is search for a score report, search for a candidate. I can't create users. Only the site admin can create users. So I'll just take a note to make sure that that role matrix is, because I updated it recently, is attached to the manifesto and you guys have access to it.
Okay, Kath, that would be helpful.
It makes sense. There are only 3 roles, basically. There are 3 roles, and 2 roles are at the institution level, and 1 role is above institutions, which is the super admin.
Okay.
Okay. So this one, I'm wondering, view all users in my institution. We would naturally be able to do this as a result of creating a user. This is the screen. This is the default screen, right? When institution site admin goes to manage users, they will view all the users. So do we want to keep this as a separate story, or do we think that actually it's already covered in create site admin and create user? So this is this basically. If I log in as a site admin, then I can see any other site admins that I've created, including myself. and I can see score report users. Do you think we need it as a separate story? We can leave it as it is. I just think that it could be accommodated by one of the other stories. No thoughts? We'll keep it as a separate story if it's easier.
Yes, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Okay. And one thing I might have, okay, so one thing I need to check is, can site, yeah, okay. So site admins can create other site admins. I just need to double check that. So that's create user in my institution. Edit users, again, this should be pretty straightforward because it already exists. So yeah, if I want to edit a score report user, we already have that screen, right? So it's the same screen. It's just that there would be a different role here. So you may want to change the role of a user and any other information. So we have the designs for that already. I think that one's all fine.
This is which story? Edit users cat.
This is. Can you still see my screen, by the way?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's edit user. And again, I'm just checking that we're good. I think we have everything we need for this because the function already exists. The only difference is that now a site admin will be able to edit users rather than just a super admin. So I think we're fine on this. I think this one's okay. Search for a candidate only by date of birth. Yeah.
Yeah, while editing an user, can we change from SRW user to site admin?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was to say, yes, I think so. I think it's fine. This is the thing I'm checking here. So I'm just checking that site admins can create other site admins, right? That from a business perspective, we're comfortable with that. If we are comfortable with it, then yes, a site admin could edit a score report user and make them a site admin because they're effectively creating them as a site admin if they do that. So yes, I'm checking that.
Okay.
I think it's good for cat changing role from one role to another because mistakenly I created one role for site admin, but it should be core report user. So I again it change from site admin to score report user. I think change role from one to another one is good.
Yeah. Again, sorry, the sound is not that great. Come a bit closer and repeat it. Sorry.
Just a minute, yeah.
So
yeah, that's fine.
By mistake, if the person want to create a role with the super admin, unfortunately, he has been created with the score report user, and during edit option, there will be feasible for him to change the super admin. That's what the site admin. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So I think the question is whether that's okay and whether the site admin can. So super admin will create site admins. But the question in my mind is, can a site admin also create a site admin? Are we comfortable with them doing that, or do we want that to be the super admin role only? So that's the thing I need to answer. Did that answer your question?
No, Kat. We are asking. Suppose I need to create site admin, but mistakenly I create score report user.
Oh, I see. Got it.
So go to another. So edit option is good for.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it would be good to have that because it can help them correct mistakes, right?
But
so if in case that a site admin creates a user and accidentally gives them the wrong role, then they will need to be able to edit that role. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Kat.
Yeah. Agreed. No, I totally agree. Either we do that, or we remove the ability for them to create a different role. We just say it's score report user only. So that's the decision that I'll take.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got search for a candidate only by date of birth. Yeah. We do need to do this because, and the reason is, so we go to the search screen. Yeah, so what it means is you would only plug in the date of birth. Jack, from the user research you did, this was a need, right? That they wanted to be able to search if they didn't have a registration ID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And actually, we have heard it in the customer interviews we've done recently as well. So we will need to do that, but this is where we'll need a design, because if I am searching by date of birth, so for example, if I'm searching by yeah, so I've seen nothing's going to happen here. But if I searched by that, then we're either going to get told that there are no matching score reports, or we're going to get told that there are, but there might be more than one. So we're going to need some screens for this one, Jag. We're going to need a results screen, and we're going to need I mean, the error message is quite straightforward, I think. The error is just like, if I put in this, it probably gives me an error already.
Yeah.
Well, it's the wrong one, but yes, you would need to say date of birth does not match this data. Yeah, so that one's quite straightforward. But then we also need a results screen. So what if they retrieve more than one candidate? What does that look like? So we'd have to have those candidates listed. So if I've got 2 candidates with a matching date of birth, then what would happen? I'd see both of them and I could choose one.
Yeah. About listing out and then we get to
Yeah.
select.
Now, so what we've got to think about there is what we would want to show on that page. So off the top of my head, I'm thinking we would retrieve, we'd probably see the name. We'd probably see the name, the registration ID, and the date of birth, I would have thought. Would we see a candidate photo? Probably not. I think they probably have to go into the report to see the candidate photo. Yeah. So, okay. So let me make a note here. So what number are we? So this is 282. Okay. So we've got a design needed. So Jag, this is probably the first thing you need to do.
Yeah. Actually, it's fine to.
Yeah. So designs needed. So we need a error message. What do we get currently? We get this. Yeah, so error message is on current modal for appointment ID, and I will confirm what the error message say. The message says, and then we need a search results page. Agree data to show. So this is probably going to be candidate name, first name, last name, date of birth. I guess we confirm again. registration ID, I think. So yeah, should be straightforward. What I'll do is, I hate Jira. What I'll do is I'll add a flag to this as well, just to show that we need the design as well. And I'll add that information to the acceptance criteria. So let's add a little flag here. Cool. Okay. Do you guys have any particular questions on that one, other than the fact that Jag will put together a design for it?
No, Kat.
Okay, all good. So then alphabetical sorting of users by last name to be case insensitive. I think that one is straightforward. It's an issue that we're having at the moment. So if I go into manage users, and I sort like this. Don't know if have I got an example of it here? Yeah, I'm not sure if I've got an example. I'll go to the end and see. What it does is it does a really strange thing where we need it to ignore case. So if you put lowercase, it just throws everything out a bit. So we've probably got an example here. Actually, I don't even know what this is, an odd character as well. It will list if you've got a lowercase or maybe some extraneous character, it will list it separately. So we just need to ignore cases, and we also need to ignore any characters that are inserted as well. So yeah, I think that one's quite straightforward. I might just add something about ignoring extraneous characters, e.g. question mark. Okay, so that's a fairly straightforward change, I think. Do you guys have any questions on it?
No, Kat, we are good.
Okay, fine. And then filter users by role, we've talked about in relation to site admin. So if I am creating site admin and school report users, then I want to be able to filter that list. And just see school report users or just see site admin. So again, we don't need to design there. That should be fine. Great. Okay. And then I think we're probably getting on to the more complex stuff now, which is here, create a new department school. Edit existing department school. Yep. So let's have a look at the story. Which is 83. Okay. So yeah, so again, we've got this thing of department code issued automatically. Yeah, so what we need here, and this is where we need designs, Jag, is we need an area to actually open up all departments and schools, and design for the departments and schools list. So let's try and work through this one together. Does everyone know what a department and school is? Do I need to explain that? Guys? Do you want me to explain what a department school is?
Yes, Kat. Additionally, we would need existing DB schema from Pearson View.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the department and school exists within an institution. So the hierarchy that View has which we can probably see actually if we go into the old site or the current site. I shouldn't call it the old site because it still very much exists. So this is the site that customers are currently using.
Okay.
I have so many issues with this. I swear there's a time limit on my password. Something very strange happens here. Let me try this. None of this will work and I'll just abandon it in a minute. I know that works. Okay, so yes, within an institution, there is and I'm signed in as a super admin here, but when I create a new institution after I've been through that flow, so this is all how it's done in the old site, I can then also create a program or a department in the school. What I don't understand is why in the current site, programs there's the ability to create a program separately to an institution. So I need to understand that. I'm not sure why that's there. As I understand it, the hierarchy is you have institution at the top level, then you have department and school within an institution, and there may be several schools. So if you think about university, a university might have a school of engineering, a school of mathematics, a school of history. So we need the ability to create schools within an institution, and then we also need the ability to create programs within schools. So it's a 3-level hierarchy. We can get the schema from view, so I'm going to make a note of that. And what we now need, and I've also got a question as well, in current SRW, I can, oh God, sorry, my typing is off today. Why can we create programs outside of institutions? So that seems to break the hierarchy to me, so I don't understand it. So I'll find that out. So what we will need is a whole flow for doing this. And what I've suggested, Jag, is, you can probably see it here, that we need some kind of icon for opening all departments and schools. And we need a design for that view. We need a design for that list. And then we need a form for creating a department and school, which is kind of straightforward. And I think I've got a screenshot in the story. So we'd base it on that using our current templated design. And we need error messages if the film is filled incorrectly. So the story should be quite well defined. It's just that we need these designs. So Jag, what this looks like, I think, is if I log in as a site admin, then I will go here first, and I need the ability to add a new department in school. So it might be something that's on this screen. The thing is that we will need different designs for the super admin and the admin, because for super admin, it's quite straightforward, I think. You have the institutions listed here, and I think you would have an icon that said, I need to create a department within that institution.
Yeah.
So I think that bit is straightforward. It's just if you actually log in as a site admin, you would need to see something different because you don't see the list of institutions. So here, I think you maybe would have some other button that would be here, right? That would say create department school. Okay. And a key question for me is, can the site admin do this? Or actually, is this something that we just want the super admin to do? If we just want the super admin to do it, then we only need one set of designs and one flow. and it's easier. So that's a question for me. So from business perspective, can site admin create departments and schools and programs? Okay, so that's one for me to investigate. And same with edit department, and then auto-generate code. So this one as well, I think, is the same question that we have here. What is the current logic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same question can same questions here as here. Okay, so I think, and I don't know what you guys think, we should leave it there because there are quite a few questions for me to answer, and to be honest, I can get answers to these quite quickly. Jag, you've got a bit of a heads up on what to work on first, so it's going to be the one we just talked about.
The department school.
Yes, department school. And also searching for a candidate only by date of birth.
Yeah.
So it's going to be these. And the thing I need to confirm for you is this just a super admin flow, or is this also a site admin flow? In which case the designs will need to be different.
Yeah.
Same for program. So I've got some questions to answer there. So I think if everyone is okay with this, we should leave it here for now, before going into the rest of the backlog. We've only got 5 minutes left anyway. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes, Kath.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So I like your prioritization. I think it's good. And I think it makes sense that we do work on these first, particularly because these we can do independently of you. The question is when we can start, Kalpana, isn't it, really?
Yes, Kath.
Yeah, so that's more of our pressing issue. In the meantime, I will refine these stories based on the questions I've got here. We can get more information from Vue, like the schema, etc., and the logic where we need it, so I can facilitate that. And Jag can begin working on the additional designs we need. So at least on our side, we can be working on these things. So this was actually hugely helpful, really, really helpful to be able to work through that. And we can at least be ready for when we can start development. Does that sound all right?
Yes, Kath.
And hopefully we'll have a clear view from Ian Wright next week on when we can get those environments set up, how quickly and when development can begin.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions just while I'm on the call that you want to raise on anything you've seen, or are you happy to leave it there for now?
No other questions,
No,
Kath.
Kath.
We are good, Kath.
Okay, sounds really good. If you come up with anything else on the rest of the backlog, then just let me know, because having advanced sight of these kinds of questions is really helpful for me. I realise that you've got some here as well. So yeah, I'll make sure that I go through those. But if anything else comes, then just populate this. So this is probably my definitive view on everything you've come up with so far, right?
Yes, Kath.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. So really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Kalpana, how often will we have our refinement sessions? Will we have one mid-sprint? Is that how we'll do it in advance of the next sprint?
Yes, Kath. Yeah, that would be good, right, Kath?
Yeah, I think so.
Or 2 sprints ahead we can have.
Actually, we maybe want to try 2 sprints ahead. Why don't we try that? Challenge ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Okay, sounds really good. Thanks very much, guys. It's really helpful. And we'll get cracking on finishing up those stories, so at least we're ready to start.
Yes, Kath.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Jag.
Great. Cheers. Yeah.
All right. Good to talk to you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kath. Thanks,
Thanks,
Jag.
Kath.
Bye.